Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday, 17th of November 2021. It's 9 o'clock here in Ireland, in UK, 10 o'clock in France. So, faites my Irish friends. I hope this finds you okay. And we are here once more to talk, to have a great conversation. And today's topic is divine justice in our destiny. It's a very, very amazing topic to talk about. And don't miss because we have a lot of good things here. And first of all, before we start, let's say good evening to my friends here. Good evening, Ms. Gibbons. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. Good evening, everyone. It's always an opportunity to be here with all of you and for discussion and talking about the doctrine and learning quite a lot. So may God bless us today. Peace and grace. Amen.
Hello, my dear friends. Do you know that I feel myself every Wednesday as I am in a big room, talk with you about subject that really give us the strength to understand our life. So everyone needs to have this circle of conversations in a humble way. Doesn't need to be academic to talk about something like that it really enrich our souls. So once again, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. So everyone, feel yourself be hugged by us. Okay? God bless you all.
Thank you. Mr. Kempf.
Bonjour, bonsoir à tous. Très heureux et très ravi d'être avec vous ce soir pour parler de ce beau sujet sur la justice divine et puis ces questions de justice divine, de fatalité, du destin, etc. qu'on va essayer de vous expliquer un petit peu aujourd'hui. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I'm very happy to be here again with you because I think I missed the previous one last week. I couldn't join you. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it later. But I'm very happy to be here again with you to develop this theme about divine justice and our destiny, showing how the things are in the reality, how to find this convergence and this coherence between this God's infinite justice and all these things we are seeing around us day by day.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, good evening, Beatriz. Good evening, Leah, from Sweden. Beatriz, I think Beatriz in UK. So, good evening, everyone. We have more people joining us. Good evening, my friends from the United States and Brazil as well. So, I hope everyone is fine, is okay. So, let me share my screen because, as usual, we will show a short video and then we will start our discussion.
Every effect has a cause. I know, you know.
All of them knew.
It's logical and natural to believe that. But what about the unexplained events? Should we simply follow some belief just to believe in something? It's easy to find the causes of many effects.
If it's wet, it's because it has rained.
If it's cold, it's because winter has come.
Okay, these are silly simplifications, but you're about to see what I mean. Picture this. When a plane crashes and kills hundreds of innocent people, or when a child is born with an incurable disease. Now, a crucial point. One of the most well-known attributes of God is his supreme benignity. Don't you agree? Humanity has always used the words love, justice, goodness as synonymous for God. Can something that is love with a capital L run a world where, for example, a child is born with an incurable disease and will be made to suffer what few days they have left? It's divine will, some would say. We begin now with the concepts of the Spiritist teachings in regards to the law of cause and effect. Every effect has a cause. So we can conclude that if the cause of a suffering is not in the present life, it should be in the past. That is, in previous lives.
Here lies a very important concept: reincarnation.
You will find a link to our episode about reincarnation in the description box.
Going back to the law of cause and effect, we can mention the ancient concept of karma used by Buddhists and Hindus.
What you did in the past reflects in the present.
Right. But the good news is that Spiritism proposes a proactive perspective. It's important to understand the past, to realize the present when we pass through difficult times. But what's more important is to be aware that our decisions today are the ones that will define how our future will be. We are totally responsible for everything that happens now and will happen in our lives. To sow goodness today, it's your decision.
There is perfect balance in the universe.
It's time to discover the spiritual laws. It's time to be free.
In the description box, you will find links to a more profound study. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See ya!
Okie dokie. So, once again, thank you to our friends from Spiritist Academy with these amazing videos. And by the way, good night for our friends in Germany, Maria Eugenia, Eduardo as well, Patricio. So good to have you all here with us. So, divine justice in our destiny. We have said here several times that God does not punish. No? The laws that govern the soul comes from laws, and these laws regulate life. Okay, through the material body and physical pain and pleasure conditions, our behaviors, all this is governed by laws. We have these laws, but spirits' happiness and unhappiness is a natural consequence of our conscious and our will. And then I'm going to use a phrase from Kardec. This is in Heaven and Hell, chapter 8, item 8. The spirit itself is always the arbiter of its destiny. It may prolong their sufferings by hardening evil, ease them or shorten them by their efforts to do good. In Spiritism, punishment is the condition of a moral suffering inherent to imperfection. God does not punish, nor does he need to forgive. He expects the inevitable repentance, because all spirits, without exception, will be happy for their efforts and their choice. This is the most perfect definition of divine justice as moral autonomy. And I love this sentence. I love this sentence. God does not punish, nor does he need to forgive. He expects the inevitable repentance. It's wonderful how this governs. And in order to start our discussion here, I'd like to ask to our friend in France, Mr. Kempf, Charles, if death cannot be avoided when it's come, it is the same with all accidents in the course of our lives?
Stevan, you are joking, no? Why do you ask this to me today? Okay. Okay, so indeed, I had quite some time to think about this. Why the accidents happen? Why me? Why now? Why, etc. And clearly, everything I could reflect about is really nothing happens just by chance or by bad luck or by so-called God's will in these things that it is, how to say, meaning that there is some fatalities that we cannot avoid and so on and so on. So the God's justice is really infinite, as we have seen. And these teenagers, including the video is very good. The teenagers have understood very, very well all these questions. And so basically all what happens to us must be either something that we have, that has been asked by ourselves, selected at our own choice, which is needed for our improvement, personal improvement, for our evolution. Or it may happen as per the law of cause and effect, or action and reaction, law of action and reaction, which is basically the same. And so very clearly, some of the accidents in the course of our life, they have been programmed by us before the reincarnation. But some others, not all, some others are a consequence of our action or imprudence in the present life. Okay, so let's take a good example here. It's very fresh from last week, and I apologize, by the way, that this happened just before or I couldn't join you. Cell phone was not working properly in the hospital and so on. So okay, fine. Why did this happen to me that at that moment? And I can clearly tell you, when I look back and come back to every thought I have when I decided to go out, when I decided to take the electrical scooter, to make a very small, how to say, run, just to go and to put a letter in the mailbox or things like that, you know. And the first thing is, you know, it was cold. It is still cold here. So I had a wool, something protecting my head from the cold. And then, okay, now with the electrical scooter, I have to use a helmet. But the helmet does not fit on top of this wool. So it came very clearly in my mind. So please remove the wool protection and put your helmet. Yes, sir. Okay, I removed the stuff and put my helmet. And a couple of minutes later, I had this very unexpected, but not unprogrammed event where the electrical scooter stopped and I did not stop. So I just flew over the scooter and fall on the floor in front of me. So I can show you the helmet. The helmet is really completely really in a pity situation, but you see my head, nothing. It's operating quite well. So again, you see, when you think, when you remember all these small details in your life, very clearly this collapse was programmed, even so I was not conscious about it. But this is why I tell it's programmed, but not it was not expected. And you see that something must happen and some other things must not happen, you know. And that's why I had the adequate protection, my helmet, and it could have been much worse. So you see, it's our spiritual mentors are always here to follow the decision we took generally together. Okay, let me cool down. I had a surgery, so I need to recover. I need to cool down, to go a little bit slower in my life. Maybe this electrical scooter is not the safest way to, how to say, of locomotion. and you need a kind of a warning in order to understand that, and so on. And I can tell you, I don't have it anymore. I have sold it 2 days ago, and it's gone. And never ever I will take such stuff again. I don't want to discourage anyone to do it. When you are younger, maybe smaller, more adequate, stronger, and very cautious, it can be safe for you. But for me, definitively, it wasn't, because I'm too old, I'm too tall, and so on, and the things are not dimensioned adequately, and the roads here in France are maybe not adequate, and so on. So you see, these things, again, nothing happens by chance, and this accident was really something that brought me an opportunity to reflect and to think about. And really, when we look, Kardec is exactly talking about this in the questions 850, 851, and so on in the Spirit's book. And he's clearly he was asking, is there fatalism in the events of life according to the usual meaning attached to the word? That is, are all events predetermined? And if so, what becomes the free will? Because there is a contradiction with this. I will not develop the free will further because I think Silvia will do it in a couple of minutes. So the spirits were answering to Kardec. Fatalism only exists when applied to the choice made by spirits upon incarnating to undergo this or that trial. So again, repeating, it was my choice to suffer this small accident, clearly. Upon the law of freedom, choosing a particular trial, they delineate for themselves a kind of destiny, which is a proper consequence of the position in which they now find themselves, which is, I am referring only to the trials of a physical nature, like this one. Now they complete by saying, as for the moral trials and temptations, spirits preserve their free will to choose good or evil, and they are always able to yield or resist. Okay, and this is why how we can conciliate, with these events which are unexpected, that maybe we did not desire but happen even so. In fact, we asked for them in order to help us to progress in this life. And clearly, they confirm at the beginning of your question, you told that we cannot avoid the death. Of course, one day or the other we will die. And really, this in the question 853, the spirits are confirming this. Fatalism, in the true meaning of the word, applies only to the instant of death. When that moment arrives, in one form or another, you cannot escape it. And again, it is what we would say fatal, or it's a fatalism. But again, we participated to the decision, okay, we will have this life, we will reincarnate, and we will come back to the spiritual world in this or that circumstances, at this or that time. And when this time arrives, okay, you can pray, you can do whatever you want, have the best healers or whatever. But when the time is arrived to go back to the spiritual world, to be freed of this physical body, we will go, and it will even be the best for us often. Like my mother, when she died last year, it was the best for her at that moment. She made his mission. She made everything she could to help the sons, the daughters, grandsons, and so on. And the time has come where she could return to the other side. And so this again is something like fatalism, but we always participate to this decision. Now, of course, this does not mean that we don't care because we will only die when it's time to die. No, that's not true. If we are really, we need to take, of course, all possible precautions to preserve our lives. And for instance, questions like suicide that we talked a little bit about, I think in a previous live, this is not a fatal thing. Okay, suicide is happening as per our free will, And this is exactly why it is really problematic, because the death happens before the time where it was naturally or normally foreseen, giving all these problems of residual vital fluid and so on. So, but I will not develop this here, it would be too long. And also, when we go through a danger or when we have an accident, we have always to see this as a warning that, again, we have desired ourselves in order to help us to become better persons, or to take better precautions, to take better decisions for the rest of our life, for the mission we still have to do. And it's most of the time when we suffer an accident that we are learning. I can tell you, I was in the hospital. So in France, of course, to the emergency, it was quite quick this time, because they called me after 2 or 3 minutes. And then they made the radiography also very quickly. And the doctor saw the radiography also very quickly. And they put me a temporary stuff. And then they kept me in the hospital because the radiography, I needed the surgery to put some metal sheet and so on. But then, of course, you know, it was 11th of November is holiday, a day off here. And then you don't have so many people at the hospital and so on with the COVID and all these difficulties we had in the past year. You need to have a little bit patience. So again, excellent exercise to develop the patience, because I had to wait something like 30 hours until there was a place in the surgery room block for enabling it. And there also I saw, okay, good exercise for the patients. And all of a sudden, there was some moment really when you see the day was almost ending. Will it be today? Will it be tomorrow? I lost a little bit the patience. And what happened? Immediately, I got influence of bad spirits. Yeah, it may gangrene. It may be very serious, and so on and so on and so on. You see? So this is excellent. I can tell you now, to develop your patience, there is nothing better than this. And I'm here to telling you this all laughing, and I see Silvia also, but because it's incredible how the things happen, and how this God's infinite justice and all these spiritual mentors which are always with us, they come and help us in our personal betterment. Okay. So again, I mean, yes, some accidents can be avoided. Also, an important thing I wanted to say, we decide a lot of things before incarnating, because for a given purpose, because we want to correct something. But if you manage to solve the cause for which you asked to have this trial or this accident, if you manage to solve it up front without needing the accident, then of course the accident is not needed anymore. And this is again only up to us to use our free will. The accident is not mandatory for our evolution. We can also have our evolution by using properly our goodwill and this will, which is fundamental to work on ourselves, to remove our defects like selfishness, pride, and so on, to replace them by charity, humility, and so on. And if we do this on a good shape, we don't need accidents to get there. So this is what I wanted to say on this subject. Thanks a lot for the question.
Can I say something about what Charles
Yeah,
said?
sure.
Charles, so me, not I don't say that a lot of times, but sometimes happen with me, more or less slightly what happened with you. And later on, I discovered in a message that the benefactors that was guiding me, helping me, taking care of me, we can say, as you have, all of us we have, help me. Of course, it's my choice to do something that help with me to stay at home and not go out. That could be something very dangerous. One day I insist and I went out, something that I could stay at home. And I was 11 o'clock darkness, 11 o'clock p.m. I was alone in the bus stop waiting for the buses, and someone came out of the blue and almost, if the bus didn't come quickly, I was in trouble. So I understood that everything in our life has a purpose. So when Jesus said, in everything, say that you are grateful, né? Be great with everything. That means a lot. Even when you brought your you break your arm, or you lose something at home that you have to stay, or your key, you lost your key of your car, etc., that prevent you to drive and stay a little bit more time looking for your key or do something. That is a blessing in our life. We should see everything as a blessing. Of course, we have to be vigilant, we have to look everything, we have to pray, but also be grateful for everything that happens in our life. That's the most important. Because be angry, shouting against the God, or doing other thing, only attract, as you said before, ignorant spirits that take advantage to influence us, to make a mess in our day, in our week, in our life. That's it.
Thank you, Elsa.
By the way, thank you, Bruce, for your comments already. Put your comments here on the screen. Guilherme as well. Nancy Valente, good to have you here. And now we're going to ask to Miss Gibbons here. My dear, are the determinism and free will at the same time in human existence?
Okay. I think this more or less is being answered, just going to go through the points again. I think determinism it is the fact, like Charles explained quite well, before we are born, we participate, not everyone, but most of us participate of the plan for our incarnation on this earth. So the kinds of life we're going to lead, the kind of illnesses, the kind of body we will have, for the existence that we will have to have as when we are born, everything is planned. But it's like we have a blueprint of a life to come here, so that many of the things that happen, we should have patience and not fight with God, because it's actually our choices. And but when we come to life, we have more or less a plan of life that we have chosen. But within this plan, we can change things. We can make things a lot better, or you can make things a lot worse. So in a way, there is a kind of determinism and a kind of fatality, but also there is the will for choice. Because I think, like Elsa and Charles pointed out, nothing happens unless we allow it to happen. When we make choices in our lives, and we always have that voice, don't we? I mean, by what Charles and Elsa was saying, we always have that little voice which tells us yes or no. And sometimes we make choices against ourselves, against that voice. And that's when we get into a lot of trouble. And I mean, I have so many, examples thinking about when I was listening and when I was reading for this, how many times I knew I shouldn't have done it. I knew I would have had to stay, but I knew better. And also there are so many times when we listen to the voice and we think, oh my God, yes, thank you, God, for doing this, because then things happen. So we have this both. I think something like in Spiritism, nothing is written in stone. We make changes. It might be that even that we came for whatever, because of our past, all that baggage that we bring from our past, and we would have, say, an accident that we would lose a leg or become disabled or something. But we change. We begin to have a kind of life that is so good, is so beneficial for other people, that we change that instead of losing, say, a limb or having a very serious accident that would we wouldn't be able to do very much. Maybe we hurt ourselves, we have an accident and we be lame, but not completely unable to, what's going on here? Oh, sorry, I disappeared for a moment. So I think I think it was, pointed out, whatever happens, it always depends on us. I have an example similar to Elsa. I went to a friend of mine once, and sometimes I used to go there before COVID. And sometimes I come back in the evening, and I would go on the street behind to go get the bus. It was easy to get to the bus stop from there. And I always used to do that. And one day, as soon as I came out, it was like 11 o'clock or something, 11:30, something like that. As soon as I came out of her house, I heard a voice saying, "Don't go that way. Go to the other way today." I heard it. And, and I thought, oh, what's this? And I continue walking quite fast, going towards and then it was like somebody shouted. It wasn't a soft voice anymore. It was like, "Go the other way." And then I stopped and I thought, yes, I go the other way. And, I got there. And afterwards, I had that sensation that if I had gone the way that I was going to, I would be in serious trouble because it was dark. There isn't anybody there. Usually it's a very isolated, only houses. So sometimes, we have the help there really screaming at us that we should do something different. And I think we need to really learn to listen to this inner voice, because it's our guardian angels, are the spiritual benefactors that are helping us. And many times when we get into a lot of trouble, it's because we ignore it. And if there is anything to learn by determinism and free will, I think it's this that we have to learn to listen to the inner voice. What are the help giving us? And also, that voice as well would tell us to do something that when we are within ourselves, absolutely certain that's not a good thing. And we have influences. Although we have influences, the spirits cannot make us do anything that we don't want to do, either good or bad. We can have a good influence from good spirits to tell us to do something, which can we ignore. And we have also the negative influence, because when we have this, we give in sometimes, then we have the negative influence that puts us, maybe the spirits will make us feel fearful, or start giving ideas of how bad it is, and we ended up not doing something that would be good for us. Or if we allow ourselves to be fearful sometimes in certain situations, because everything there is a purpose, like in Ecclesiastics, to everything there is a time and a purpose for everything under the heaven. And it's not because it has to happen. No, it's not like this. That is within the boundaries of the possibilities. We can choose what we do. So, as I said before, we have the choices to make it good. And also, I think, like Charles said, and Elsa mentioned as well, it's a question of patience, having understanding. Because, when you hear something or certain situations happen to us, the first thing is this reaction that explodes. And if we are able to just stay with it for a bit, think about it, we can see the positive in every situation. In every situation, there's something to learn, even the ones sometimes that we make mistakes on. And the thing as well about being grateful, having patience, understanding, calm, and being grateful. I remember a friend of mine once, she was telling me this story that happened to her. She used to go from She was a nurse, so she used to go from one place to another to work. She had 2 jobs. And she used to go always run and get the bus from 12:45 to 1, so she could be in that place because she liked to decorate the place and do whatever she did. And that day, somebody, as she was leaving, always rushing out, somebody called her to ask her a question. So she had to go back and explain to this person what she needed doing and things. And she was really annoyed because she, of course, as she was coming out, she saw the bus and she missed the bus. And she had to wait another 15 minutes for the next bus. And of course, she took the other bus, cursing the girl who called her, cursing the hour and everything. And as they were approaching the stop where she should have got off, and she would be always in the front of the bus because she'd like to get off really quickly, they had an accident. The driver had lost control and went right into a light, one of the light board or something that was there. And the 2 people who were standing there died, including the driver. And then she said she cried so much. And when she went, she was so scared and frightened and great. She said she fell on her knees crying and thanking God for, holding her back because she would be dead. And I think sometimes there are so many stories like this. I think all of us know quite lots of them. And if there is anything we need to think about, it's really to have patience with things, to have the understanding, to sit with it, to meditate on it. There is always a reason for things. And never, ever, ever, never, ever complain that God imposed something on us. Because, as you said from the beginning, Stevan, God does not impose anything. He does not need forgiveness. He doesn't have to forgive us because he's not offended by our stupidity. And he gives us a choice because even when we make mistakes, we are learning something. We are growing spiritually. We will not make the mistake again, because sometimes as well we tend to go on and say, this is the way I like to do it. And there is a very interesting story, if I have a little minute to tell. It's a story, somebody wrote this, I read somewhere. This person went down the road and there was a big hole on the road, and she fell down the road, and it took ages to get off from this hole. And they hurt themselves, it was really bad, but they did. They came out after a few. Then next time they were going, and they knew there was a hole on that road, but they went down the road again and again and again. Every time they fell on the hole, it was becoming easier to come out. And then one day I said, oh, that's, the road, I go around the hole. And the next time he said, no, that's the road or the hole in it. I'm going to take another road. And sometimes we needed to fall down very many times before we actually learn. Mm-hmm. So I think, in this question and what we're saying here is have a patience, calm down, thank God for the help we're receiving. Never be angry, because whatever happens is always a choice. And be grateful that, could have been worse, and grateful for the lessons to learn. So when we say there is free will and determinism at the same time, but nothing is fixed, everything can be changed and molded and transformed into something better and different. So I think I hope this have answered the question you proposed.
Of course, yes.
I'd like to raise something, Stevan, again. Sorry, because it came to my mind when Silvia talking about destiny. In the destiny, a lot of people, they they do not hear their own inner voice, conscience, but they want to pay to other people, fortune tellers, say things about their destiny. And other people spending money week and week in lottery. to receive a lot of money, make a lot of...
Save the world.
Huh?
And save the world.
Yes.
Win the lottery and save the world.
If it's not in this person's life to be rich, you can spend money in everything and never lottery comes towards you. Because otherwise, could be everybody. And destiny, when the person, when I was young, before my marriage, I went to people that read your palm, no? And say, oh, you have 5 children and this and that, you married someone from the, castle, etc. So this made our minds, and you focus sometimes in things that the other people are saying, and you don't resonate, you don't use your reason to really put yourself in the position that you can listen your inner voice. You can exercise that. Make your choices, use your free will, with a prayer, with good thoughts, not bad intentions. Of course, I will do this for this person that is against me, blah, 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 and use your free will in a better way. Of course, you find a lot of stones in your pathway. But we should think more and do more credit and respect our own thoughts in a good way, as I said, because it's difficult for people when they are in bad mood, always drinking, shouting, and ask for blessings without really do any effort. Is the hole still there? If they don't move the way, they change the way that they are using their lives, the big hole will be even bigger and fell down many times.
And Stevan, I just see here the comment of Maria Eugenia Rego.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to put it here.
Screen. And she is exactly right. This is, it's not easy when you hear something or when something comes in your mind to know, to be sure. We are never sure that it comes from your spiritual mentor or if it comes from someone who wants exactly the opposite. So this is exactly why we have our free will. So it's up to us to listen, to analyze, to use our intelligence, to analyze and to take the right decisions. Because if they would just come, if we just would have to follow the small voice and who is deciding everything for us, this is not free will anymore. So it's up to us to listen or to not listen, or to listen to the blue angel or to the red devil. It's up to us. It's our decision at the end. But my comment was more when you remind and you afterwards, when you see how the things happened, this is exactly how, hey, this guy who insisted, this voice who insisted, remove this and put your helmet, for sure that was the spiritual guide, for sure. And thanks God I listened to him. And this is how you by the analysis, you acquire this kind of active listening or mindfulness, or I don't know how to call it, in order to with the time be able to better recognize the good one from the other ones.
Yeah.
So in case of doubt, you stop and do nothing. In case of doubt, if you're not sure that what you are thinking is from a good one, think twice and stay, not to answer messages, don't write emails, don't call someone to shout, etc. Wait a little bit more, calm down, as you pointed very well, and next day you can solve the problem, or...
And you will get confirmation anyhow.
Exactly.
But I think also, sorry, I'm too barging in here.
Please.
I think also, we know, don't we? We know when we are being inspired for something good. We know that. We know enough by now about spirituality, even people who don't have a lot. But we know enough when we are being advised for something good and when something's not good. Because we feel ourselves that energy that's not very good. So if we feel that insistence, I don't know why. you tend to think it's heavy. The influence that's negative, that wants to see you harmed, is heavy. It's insistent. Is kind of go and do it, whereas the other talks to you softly, talks to you, sometimes he shouts as well, don't go that way, but you feel a kind of light energy in it. So I think comes to a point you already can define the voice, if it's good or not. We have the sense that where it's trying to lead us, because deep down inside we already know if something is not good for us and we should stop doing it.
Reason of faith and know yourself.
Yeah,
that's it.
And that's true.
But before I ask the last question here to Elsa, allow me to read a short paragraph. This is from the first edition of the Heaven and Hell, chapter 4, item 6. By the examples that Spiritism puts before our eyes, it teaches us that the soul in the invisible world suffers for all the evil it has done and for all the good it could have done and not done during its earthly life. That the soul is not condemned to an absolute, uniform, and fixed time penalty, but that it suffer the natural consequence of all its evil actions until it has improved by the efforts of its own will. It carries its own punishment in itself, and that is wherever it finds itself, for which there is no need for a circumscribed place. Hell, then, is wherever there are suffering souls, as heaven is wherever there are happy souls, which does not prevent them from grouping around specific points by the affinity of positions. Kardec is wonderful, isn't it? Kardec is amazing. And that is my last question here to Elsa. After what we just read, is divine justice equitable?
Yes, it's interesting that we know that's a phrase in English that says, like attractive like. The souls that are suffering in a place that's not here and there is the conscience place of each one. They are there, not eternally, because there is no eternal punishment. God never punishes us. It's the consequence of our behavior, our wrongdoings in our lives, or our goodness in our lives. We will be in a state of heaven or a state of hell when we pass to the other side in spirit. That in spirit we cannot hide things from us. We are freely seen by the other spirits, are like us, and the benefactors that are waiting for us to wake up in our way that we are living here and there in order to be helped. But be helped is not like that. We see André Luiz, how many years he was in the state that he was an umbral. Wasn't hell, was an umbral. The hell stopped when he asked by thoughts, God, Jesus, asked help for the benefactors. The benefactors were always there surrounding him. So this situation in our lives before God, we are equal. God loves the murderer, God loves the priest, God loves everyone the same way. When we, in my prayers, I always pray, when people comes to me and find themselves under inverted commas obsession, perhaps obsession is only here, it's not a evil spirit surrounded, it's the way that the person are living, the choices that the person are choosing, doing, and don't change their lives for a better, and always ask help from outsiders. So ask for me, for us in a fraternal attendance, to help because they find themselves under obsession. Okay, if there are obsessors, I couldn't see, but I pray for them. I always pray that Mother Mary, Maria of Nazareth, Mother of Jesus, that is the only hurt that we can ask really to help these obsessors, murderers, spirits that are wandering here and there in order to be helped. Because in my faith, in my belief, strong believer, né, I have strong faith in Mother of Jesus, because if you are a Mother of Jesus, né, the greatest man in our life, she has the power to help these murderers. So before God, we can do everything. We have no eternal punishment, no eternal goodness as well, because the benefactors, they are working. The benefactors in higher superior spirits or the benefactors or guardian angels, they have tasks to fulfill in order to evolve as well. So
Yes.
our planet are full of spirits, even terrestrial ones, extraterrestrial ones, working together to help this humankind to evolve. And we are part of it. But it's up to us, it's entirely in our choice to be helped, to help, and when we are helping ourselves, we are helping others. We are helping our ecosystem. We are helping our environment because we are changing ourselves for the better. We are take care of the lights that are spending more money here and there. We are taking care everything, even our own way to evolve, our moral way to evolve. We can do that for us. This is the way that I can see the answer, Stevan. In the book, this chapter that I was, when I saw it, I tried to read here, but I didn't find it quickly in order to read, that this book is amazing, especially the part 2, and the second part of the book, that bring to us these situations that we spoke today. The ones that were murdered, the ones that...
Examples,
A lot of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's amazing. It's amazing to share these, to see your point of views and figure out that life, we are under control of it. Believe it or not, we are under control of it. It's
Yeah.
the
And I
decisions,
think,
the
sorry.
decisions in our hands.
Yeah, it's just one point. It just that occurred to me that when I read, some people say why some people have all good luck and other people don't have good luck, and they are born and things always negative happen to them. They suffer a lot, and I think this is a question that is asked. Even in the video, the girl said, "Oh, when a child is born in this way," and the people who have more difficulties, they have asked for it. I know it's difficult to imagine that, you ask for that, but we do. We ask for experience to go through. So we ask for a harder life than we maybe now once we hear. But when we're in the spiritual world, we ask for a lot of things. And sometimes it's given us when we insist a lot. So it's not because God is imposing any harm or more luck on other people, because there is no such a thing, but it's because we ourselves have asked for all the experience that we go through. Nothing is imposed. And a child that may be born, it could be that this child have had problem in the past, and they have to readdress the wrongs that they've done, and sometimes they doing it, they coming in such a way because it's a lesson for the parents. So there is always a lesson, something good to learn, something that will make us grow as a spirit, to become more wise and enlightened. I think that's the beauty of it, the grace of God, the gift of God to us, that we have in doing the work ourselves. Is that how we become enlightened and we come closer to God? That's his gift to us, I think. So
Yeah, but also we need to understand that in life we need to find our essence. We need to find out what's pleasure us, because most of us decide to go to the, oh, I will do this, I will do this profession here because it's make more money. I will go this way because it's a shortcut, for something. But at the end, it is not the essence. So we need to find us inside ourselves what we need, what we want. But at the same time, this doesn't mean we will not face challenge. But the difference is when you find your essence, when you face challenge, instead of being a big waves like tsunamis, you have to face this challenge and go on. When you are unhappy, when you don't find your essence, challenge like this size looks like a tsunami.
Exactly.
So, anyway, so any other comments? Can I go to the announcements? Yeah? Okay, let me put the announcements here. Oops. Okay. Okay, so our next episode, it's Death, a Door to Eternity. We will have, as usual, it's our last speech of the month. Let's talk of the month, and we will have a special guest, Alexandre Caldini, and we'll be here with the full team. So good to have everybody here with us. Okay, so don't forget, Spiritism X 2021 on Saturday, the 20th of November, and Sunday, 21st of November, which is this Saturday and this Sunday more specifically. Okay, 1:00 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. London time. Okay, great, amazing speakers, a wonderful content, and don't miss it. Also, on the 11th of December, we will have the closure of this year of Leon Denis. This is a event organized by Buzz, by Kardec Group, Kardec Radio, and Irish Spiritist Federation. Every month we had some guests talking about Leon Denis, the books of Leon Denis, and we will have all of them or some of them with us, having this closure of this celebration for Leon Denis. Okay. Also, on the 21st, 20 and 21st of November, we will have the second virtual International Spiritism Medical Congress. So, and the topic of this year is Healing in the New Era. Amazing doctors, amazing speaks. So don't miss it. Time to talk. Next Tuesday, we will have conversations on mediumship with Guilherme Dias and Rafael Caldas, 8:30 p.m. every other Tuesday. The Kardec Group is helping two institutions in Brazil, Grupo Espírita Sheila and Instituto Mutirão. If you want to help them, please go to www.kardec.org.uk high five. Also, they produce their podcast, Insightfully Speaking, and you can find and download the podcasts in the best platforms we have available in the market. And that's it. We also invite you to download the Kardec Radio app. It's free. You can download and you can listen all the Kardec radio programs and shows. Okay, it's broadcasting for more than 120 countries. Also, visit www.kardec.radio.co and you'll find out the live shows, all the schedules with everyone, and I'm pretty sure one of these schedules will help you and will give you more details. Okay? So, that's it for the announcements for today. I want to say thank you. I love the talk today. I love when we approach the autonomy. It's wonderful. And we have a last comment here from Rafael. Thanks for the reflections. Strict subjects to digest. At the end of the day, the law is of charity and love. Others' misfortunes are opportunities for us to exercise our charitable inclinations. Wonderful. Well said, my friend. That's the cherry on the top of the cake. Okay. I wish you all a good evening. Have a lovely night. For you who are finishing your day, or for you in the middle of your day, or you are just waking up, I hope you have a bright day. Okay? See you next Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you, my friends. Thank you, Silvia.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Godspeed,
Charles.
everyone, Guy. Nice to see you again, Charles.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you, Silvia.